Let's go.
Appreciate it. Is this working right here or no? Can you hear me if I yell? Oh, it's going to that. All right, it's practice number 1. So if I need this, I'm not ready to go for practice. So we're going to try it like this. So first piece of it, I got 3 thank yous. First thank you goes to these guys right here, our team. I love coaching our guys. You can clap it up for them. That's all right. It's a big day for our program because it's practice number 1. So if you haven't gotten, we have kind of passed out a sheet. It's got a front and a back to it. And I put on that practice number 1. That emphasis and that quote, that's not for you. That's for these guys to memorize, right? So extremely excited to work with them. I'm excited what is ahead. I'm excited what we built. But we have a long ways to go, and I'm excited for day 1. Second piece I want to make sure I thank the Coaching Association. I've known Coach Lav for a long time. Ran these teams. I love watching them play. And this goes beyond, I think, as we all know, to the pandemic. But I remember them very directly in the pandemic just being champions of, let's get players back on the court. How can we do that? How can we get games? How can we get practices? And so the idea of growing the game, our program is very honored to be here today. The third one, and not more important than my players, but to the previous speakers and to you kind of joining in the coaching profession, we have the best thing going, in my opinion. I got the best job in the world. But what we get to do is what do we take from this knowledge? And so Coach Lab mentioned earlier, I'll embarrass him. I don't really care. Coach Tressler is one of the best coaches I've ever been around in terms of learning when I played and then when I coached with him, and a better person. So I think that's the challenge that all of us have. Hopefully our players take from us that we imparted some great knowledge from a basketball standpoint, but hopefully more importantly, the example that we give them of who we are as people. So we're going to dive into it from the basketball standpoint, from the defensive side. And for us, I've been very fortunate to be a head coach at 2 different spots. And there's a lot of differences in the 2 different schools, but the similarities especially were when I started. So when I got the job at Maritime and I got the job at East Bay, school was starting very, very quickly. So I had to make a decision because it wasn't a, hey, go recruit a whole new team. The guys, for all intents and purposes, in year 1 at both those places, they were there. So what was going to be our identity? What were we going to be able to fall back on, for lack of a better term? And for me, and kind of how I'm wired, but also, as we all know, it's not just what we want, it's what our players need. It's what we, as a group, as a program, what we're trying to build with them. And so for us, it had to be on the defensive end. And you could talk about what we had personnel-wise, but it didn't really matter what we did not have offensively. It had to do what we had to have on the defensive side. So one of the first notes that I put down there is the identity of who we needed to be in year 1 at both those places, and the identity of where we need to be this year with this team is we have to have an identity of shared sacrifice. And if I asked these guys and I said, what would you rather do, score a bucket or get a stop? I do have some guys I think would be the second one, but the majority of the players that we work with, right, they're going to talk about, I want to get a bucket, right? I don't want to score. They might not tell you as a coach or me as a coach, but deep down. So what can we have that's going to bond them together? Because probably similar to all of you, the best teams are the teams that have an identity, and the best teams I've had have had a defensive identity to go, right? So one of the first pieces of what we look at. Second thing is, and we'll talk about some statistic stuff, is the idea of, we talk about toughness, but as a player, sometimes that can be a very abstract thing to players. Hey, you got to be tough. What does that mean? So let's be as tangible as we possibly can. And for us, we got to stat it. So what are some very tangible things we look at? Do you, right? We're going to pressure the basketball. We'll talk about rotation. Some of you will force baseline. Some of you force middle. For me, the most important thing is the straight line drive does not happen. So if I come out here, we'll talk about closeouts here in a second, and we say, hey, we're going to take the middle away, and a guy closes out and he's on the bottom side, okay? But that guy in a game doesn't get to the middle, even though in practice we'll blow it, we got to run, all that type of stuff. In the game time happens, if straight line drives are taken away, right, we probably have a pretty good start to that possession. So we'll track that. We'll track it in terms of, hey, who had blow-bys? How many different one-on-one closeout situations did you have in practice? How many blow-bys? How many times were you able to keep it in front? Second thing is deflections. Do you get your hands on basketballs, right? So for us, tangible toughness. You cannot, in my opinion, be a tough defender if your hands are down. So we'll talk about the non-negotiables. That's going to blend into it. And finally, rebounding-wise. If you stay around and watch this practice afterwards, one of the things you'll see is you'll see a red group and you'll see a white group. Right now, our red group, we have tracked in our open gym from August, whatever it was, until now, we have tracked everything we've played, every competitive deal. So Teo, where are you at right now? Teo right here, okay, a senior for us, fired up for him. But I'm more fired up on practice one because he leads us in wins. He has 80 wins, right, in these first 6 weeks that we've been together with kind of open gym and things like that, okay? Then you look at Burrell. Burrell, go ahead and raise your hand, okay? Burrell, he's a little too cool for school, so he can't step out, but that's all right. You got it, all right? The guy, we have these film study things, right? Everybody has a name, right? It's like Vince, film study, 10-2, 10-3. He changes it on the thing, and it's Showtime Real, right, on the deal. So I can't wait for him actually to have that happen in the game. So I'm waiting November 8th. I'll be there, all right? Then you look at it right now. So we got wins, right, but also win percentage. You have a guy go in, and he might be in your practice. He might say, hey, coach, I didn't have as many reps as the other guy had. So we're going to go win percentage on you, right? So Blessing, where are you at? Right? Good, Blessing. Blessing's got the highest win percentage from where we are. So tangibly from where you are, the challenge is, if we're going to talk about toughness in the same way from an offensive standpoint, stat it, give the data. What do all of our players want to know? They want to know the why, right? And then after the why, they want to know the how. So let's tell them, hey, this is why you're on the red team in our first inter-squad today. This is why you're on the white team. How do you change that from where that goes? Other thing that we look at, the idea of when you look at, for us, we want to get out and run, right? We want to get out and run, whether we're playing Chico State, whether we're playing San Francisco State. What's one of the best ways to get out and run? Get a stop, right? Get a stop out and go. So for the foundation, whether it was year one or now headed into year 7 at East Bay, what a defensive identity gives us is the opportunity to get out there and go. Second thing is we talk about predictors and metrics, okay? Some unbelievable coaches in this room, some great coaches that we all know, right? And I say this not to, I don't know, it's like gassing them up or something like that. Vince is one of the best coaches in the West region. The only thing I'm excited about playing them twice a year is it's done before 2025. We play them on December 30th, whatever it might be. Phenomenal coach, right? But we've got to make sure that we take from others, right? I'm going to steal from you. You might steal from somebody earlier in the day. So Brandon Laird, associate head coach at the University of Idaho, when he was at Davis, they did a statistical kind of analysis. And it was pretty basic, but it was pretty important. They went through it. They said every Big West game, okay, if you win field goal percentage, you win the rebounding battle, you win the turnover. All of us have heard that. 100% of the games won the Big West that year were there. So you go into it, we come at halftime. What are the first things, 3 things that we're looking at? After today, we stat after the first inter-squad. We'll have that broken down as well. And then A shots. For us, an A shot on the offensive standpoint, okay? We are getting to the rim, okay, with an advantage going to the basket. As Coach Gleeman pointed out, it's not equal for everybody, right? Some of our guys, that advantage is the guy at the hip. Some of those, that advantage is there's nobody within 5 feet of them. But for us offensively, that's an A shot. So is an uncontested 3. So when we look at from a defensive perspective, what's an A shot, meaning the one that we want to give up? That's a contested mid-range shot, okay? So as we build our defense, that's a big piece of where we are. And the final piece before we get rocking and rolling into it is a fight, right? It is a fight. What do our players, when we say, hey, we're going to run shell defense, what do they think of? I think a lot of our guys in practice number 1, they think of a drill. Hey, we're going to do a drill. It's 4-on-4 shell. I want them to get to a point, and hopefully early, to be literal with that shell. Like we are building right now this fortress that cannot be penetrated. How do we build that to go? It has to be a fight to get there. So we'll talk about half court, but we'll also talk about in our transition. And so our challenge to our guys is, can we get to a spot where no matter the advantage that might be out there, it is a fight to get back to the advantage for us, right? As we get going, I'll give you a little bit of context because we're going to start rocking and rolling with our guys pretty good. So when I break it, we go defensive workups. Red, you're going to be on this side. White, you're going to be on that side. Make sure you don't block our coaches. But before we go, I'll just give you an idea of why we get into this. And we started it, 2 of the best coaches. I've already named one, Coach Tress. I have a phenomenal staff. Coach Mike Eggleton, who's right here, he's a future head coach. Absolute brains, loyal, the whole thing beside the operation. Russ Payne has done a tremendous job joining our program in a couple months. Has already made significance. Many of you guys know Craig Ashmore, okay? I come in the office every time that he comes into our, after teaching, He comes in there right around 1:30 every single day. I know I'm going to learn something. And the beauty of it is with these three guys, coaching-wise, we get to impart that upon our players. I say all of that because we came to kind of a realization headed into the year. What do players want to do? What do they want to do? They want to play live, right? They want to play live. What do we want to do? We want to make sure that when we're playing live, they're doing the right things, okay? So what we'll do, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to do what we refer to as defensive workups. So we break them up, and again, how you break your teams up, I would challenge you to be intentional on that. Our first 10 minutes that we'll play in our inter-squad today is really intentional. Here's your win percentage. You were in the top 9 win percentage, you were not. We have 2 guys that are not practicing today because they're injured, but their winning percentage is in the top 9. Guess what? They're on the red group, okay? Now that next 10, we might say, hey, we want to see some different rotations, how guys play together and the whole thing. But that challenge, I think, for all of us is when we put the time in, right? This is our classroom. When you go and you have a professor, he or she would put a lot of time in, hopefully, to that lecture or that. Fortunately, we don't have to get behind a lectern. We get to actually be moving and grooving with the guys, but be intentional on that. So give me a red on this side, white on that side. Let's go. Got to move right here. Got to move. Let's go. All right, now, here's what we got. We're going to start with, we're going to go 2-on-2, okay? Now, Teo, you come right here to go. Go ahead and go wing on it right now. If you asked our guys, and we won't ask them because I don't want them to feel like they're going to get in trouble, but if I asked them and I said, hey, here's the deal, offense or defensive drill, the answer always is both, right? Always is both. Because if you go into it, it's only a defensive drill, guess what Teo's going to be? Well, he's a great kid, so he'll do the right thing anyways. But you're going to have some players that are not going to be super engaged with it, all right? So here we go, 2-on-2. Last thing. Ready? Go! Freeze on it. I love that. Didn't even tell DJ to do that. Why do you want to defend? Why do you want to defend? Why does a player want to defend? They want to run. They want to run. So when we go here, there is no time when we do defensive workups, if they get a stop, that we are going to stop. We're going to get out there and run. Give me the next 2 out there right now. Let's go, White. Here we go, right here. Let's go. Say wing, left. Here we go, ready? Go. Raise. Offense goes right now. They would score. They would get a point. So some would say, hey, we're going to get to the defensive thing, but we want to reward the offensive aspect of it. Because of time, we would usually spend some more time on 2-on-2, but then we progress, go 3-on-3 right now. Go 3-on-3. Hustle up right now. Let's go. 3-on-3. I love the building of a team. Because I look at us right now. We have 4 non-negotiables on it right now. So if I went to Ramsey Huff and I said, Ramsey Huff, what's one of our non-negotiables defensive? What would it be? High hands, right? So you go into it and you go into the beginning of practice and you do a drill and you say, hey, we're going to go high hands on it right now. What did you notice? Max, raise your hand, right? I love Max. Max McCall is going to have a great year for us. But his first closeout, his hands were down here right now, right? So we can do a drill. In my opinion, it's more impactful. Go live right away, right? Go live right away. 3-on-3. Ready? Let's go right now. Let's go. Freeze on it right now. Defensive workups, we would end it down there. Then the next group would come on. Freeze on it right now. So you see it on there. First non-negotiable on it, Ramsey talked about. He talked about hands, okay? My challenge that I put to our players is, even though hands is really important, it's one of our first 4, okay, and really our only 4, the most important one, and we put it at the top of there, is our airtime. So we literally mean when the ball leaves flesh, whether it is pass, dribble, a shot, we need to move with a purpose to go. You'll see some of the guys, when that pass is thrown, they'll take the first pass to go here. They got to get there and jump to the ball as quickly as they possibly can. One more 3-on-3, then go 4-on-4. Hey, go! Three's on it right now. So teaching point to go. And as we're doing this, they'll get organized in 4-on-4. As they're doing this, our coaches, right, we're keeping a note on there right now. Because Beryl came down here. B, I'm with you right now. B came down here in transition, and he was here. Chase, right, even though he missed that shot, I feel really good with him having an open three. But Beryl came down and had his hands down right now. Again, if they played live, what is the feedback that they have right now? Okay? So you go through it. Airtime. We're moving. We've got great hands. Third one before we get to the rebound aspect of it, okay, is we have to have communication. I have been guilty of this, and I'm not ashamed to admit it. My first year ever as a head coach, individual meetings with our guys, and Cesar Gerardo, one of the first guys signed to play for me, he comes in and he goes, talking about communication, talking about how we have to really invest in leadership process, and he goes, Coach, if we make a lot of noise at practice, is that a good practice? And it was like a light bulb went off for me because I've been guilty of that. Maybe some of you have as well. Is it purposeful to go? So when we say that non-negotiable and we're saying we got to talk, it's got to be intentful. So the first one they had it, Jason was involved in it. There was an interchange. Dennis came to the top. They weren't sure who was guarding what guy. Lack of communication that happened. Okay? On it right now to go. All right? 4-on-4. Ready? Let's go, right? Let's go. Coach Costello, that was for you. All right. 4-on-4. One more. Let's go. One more. Let's go. Ready? Stop. I'll stop it right there. Notice, you will not always have a coach on the side and say, hey, you go, you go. If you don't want to play, sorry, man, you don't want to play. You want to play? Be that guy. We got 5 guys out there. We're having to move around. Ready? Let's go right now. Let's go. Stop. Freeze on it right now. Stop. So here's what we got. Do we love that shot defensively? Yeah, hell yeah, we do. Sorry. All right. But here it is coming in right now. He takes this shot defensively. We love that. But again, I go back to the idea of it's an offense and it's a defensive drill. So now we get to go to and say, hey, Teo, man, when you get downhill and you put it on somebody's head, there's a reason why. He doesn't even know this yet. It's the first time he's hearing it. There's a reason why when we look at it and we say, who do the guys want in the game with 15 seconds left to go? We're up 1 and down 1. We do a questionnaire with our team. I'll send it to you if you guys want it, okay? He was on nearly every single one of those. So now we go back to it and we say, hey, you got to make sure you get downhill on that. Don't settle, okay? Last piece of it. Teo, go ahead and get the ball right here to go, okay? Get right here. Go opposite right now for me, D. You go into it. Again, the challenge, can you do it early, okay? Because, again, can you manipulate what is taking place in your workouts, and you're kind of, and these guys are going to hear it, so I'm not going to be able to do it, but you trick them a little bit, right? If you went to it and you drill and there's time for that, we'll get to it. If you're time to it and you say, okay, we're going to work on here right now, and if you drive, we're not coming off the cover corner, but got to jab and get out. We saw that happen about 3 possessions ago. So then we can start to build on that as we happen, okay? Questions on that? Any questions on what it looks like from a workup standpoint? Okay? Now, we go here. Give me a BC transition right now. BC transition. Red outside, okay? So now, good. Hold on real quick. Now, on this one right here to go. Coach, go ahead and go right here at the basket for me, okay? Now, what do we talk about at the end of it? Okay, we talked about that first session. Fight to our shell. So how do you fight to your shell? In my opinion, you make it really, really hard, okay? So we do a drill, and if some of you guys were here last year, we did the same drill from an offensive standpoint. But now we have a defensive focus to go. So we have a coach underneath, the guys on the outside. And again, I give credit to everybody we steal it from, because everything we do, very little is original. Boston College, we saw this on YouTube, right? Boom, let's run it. So here's where it goes. Offense is going to go. Burrell's almost ready to go. This ball gets going here. Now we'll break down a little bit. This ball goes for this way. I don't care if it's a transition. We have to fight to our shell. So what's that first thing? We have to engage the ball. Max McCall, some would say, man, he's the most important guy after Chase. I would agree with that, but I think that they're tied. They're tied right now with Jason, and they're tied right now with Andrew. Because what happens when we go back and watch the film, we get beat in transition. In my opinion, a lot of times, the guys that think they're out of the play, right, they don't get back into it. When there was a play, one of our players, okay, and he remembers, don't even mention his name, we're in practice, playing, gets it. He jogs back, going here right now, okay, and guess what happens? His 3 guys versus 4, they were competing like crazy. And the ball gets kicked out, and literally, if he sprinted, he would have got that thing, and we got a turnover going the other way, okay? So again, can you take, they've got an advantage right now, can you take that advantage, turn it into a disadvantage? Then on the way back, you can do it a lot of different ways. You can take the ball out of bounds. When we do it, we don't take it out, okay? So offense and defense, no matter what happens on a made basket miss, we're going down the other way. We ready? Give it to coach here. Here we go, right here, Ramsey. Here we go, gotta get there! Gotta get there! Good! Let's go! Let's go! Stop! Great. We are 12 minutes into practice, and what do we know we have to get better at? Our hands are down. We've got to get them up. What's the other thing? We got a transition bucket. We came here. We had 2 guys that ran back here, and they said, hey, I'm covering the paint. Well, guess what? We just gave up an open 3 opportunity to go. Can't have that. Rotate one more time. Same 8 guys, switch offense, defense. Same 8 guys. Now, when we do this, it's 8, it's 4 on 4. Listen up. It's 4 on 4, just so you don't get any emails from parents and say, hey, my kid only started on defense. Switch it, offense and defense. Same 8 guys get to go, right? Ready? Go! Let's go! Let's go! Stop! Ball with Burrell. Quickly, Burrell, you're there. Right there, right there. Quickly to go. Ball here right now. Okay? Air time. And again, if I go into it, man, these non-negotiables on October 5th, first day of practice, they mean a lot to me. It doesn't matter what they mean to us. It matters what they mean to them. So now this happened right now. Chase came down. That ball went here. Freeze. He's traveled the longest distance to get to this coaching clinic of anybody in here. I guarantee that. All the way from Australia. So here it is. That ball goes here. And just for a second, he stood up. So now what does that do? That gives a 2-way drive right now for Ramsey to go. He's got to sprint like crazy, and he's got to be right here in that spot right away. Make sense? Get a numbers transition right now. Sub, quickly, numbers. Here we go. Second thing that we'll do, listen up. We will go from 4 on 4, then we'll go 5 on 5. 2 different advantages to go, okay? And again, way smarter than coaches than I am, that start with drills, okay? I have done that. What do you think when we go through dynamic, okay? When they're doing this thing right now today and they're coming up, they're so much more excited when it's going to be live as opposed to, hey, we're doing 8-spot drill. Don't worry. We'll get to 8-spot drill. We'll get our time as coaches, but now we're going here. I'm sure every single one of you have done this. A couple things I want to point out from an offense and defensive perspective. We have, from our offense, we have our rocket man. We're always going to put him in the middle. We have different offensive rules, which we won't get to just for the nature of the topic. But that's one thing. Whatever your transition rules on offense, again, it's both-way drill. I would challenge you to give an advantage to the offense when you are really trying to focus on what the defensive transition is going to be, and then vice versa. Okay? So now, same deal. You're 1, you're 2, you're 3, you're 4, you're 5. So it's going to be 5 on 4. What can they do to fight to get to our shell? Ready? 2. Bring it back right now. Bring it back right now. Hold on. We got Coach Barton up there, Menlo College legend. Fortunately, Coach Mike did not turn the ball over like that when he played at Menlo. All right, here we go. Ready? 2. Let's go. Stop. Get the ball right here. Blessing, get the ball right here. Go right now. Okay, stop right where you are. We have fought to our shell. Now we have taken potentially an advantage that they had, and now we have it. In this case, we have a 5-on-5. I want to make one final mention, which is our fourth non-negotiable, okay? That idea of rebounding, okay? We have a wall in our locker room where it says the transformative wall, right? We talked about the idea of what our roles are as coaches. Do you have a transactional relationship with your players? In our opinion, that's not going to be self-sustaining, okay, in the long run. Trying to be a transformative. Now, I mean that from like the intangible, but there's some tangible ones. Like blessing, going getting that thing as a guard, as a point guard, go getting that thing as highest point. Really, really important from where that goes. Make sense? All right, get press attack right now. 4-man, take it out, okay? Give me 5-on-5 right now. Give me my 5-man right here. 3-man right there. 1 and 2 right here. Hustle up right now. Let's go quickly. Okay, now, from progression standpoint, now what we've done is we've gone advantage 4-on-4, advantage 5-on-5. Now we're going to play it straight up, and we're going to say, okay, we're going to go 5-on-5. Now, Coach Wahlberg earlier in the day, pressing and that stuff, way, way smarter than I am as a coach, right? All those type of things. But I really believe whether you are pressing to trap or you are pressing just to make sure you build your defense, your players understand that fighting to get to the shell is not when they get past half court. They are a threat from an offensive perspective as soon as the opposition gets the ball. So on this one right now, go ahead and break and get open, okay? Go ahead and throw it one way or the other. Freeze, stop. You'll notice on the note that I put there, offensively, in my opinion, everybody has. They might have different orders, but they have an order of operations. So what we want to do is we want to address those order of operations right away. So the first thing that you're going to see Drew on the ball in there right now, because what do we teach most of our guards or guys that get read up pushing? Look up the court. So the first thing we want to do right now, take that sideline away. So the first thing that Drew is doing is he's jumping on that sideline side, okay? What do we want the ball to do? We want the ball to go laterally. We want it to be pass going here. So you'll notice right now, especially when we're being aggressive, we've got Chase, who is Barill's guy right now. He's in it. What allows him right now to be in that spot? Because right now where they are, it's not very good offensive spacing. As the spacing gets better, defensively you have to make that adjustment. So right now, if you think about it, for us, and we'll get into when we get to our kind of 4-on-4 shell, so to speak, when we get to that spot, is the idea that we always want to have a flat triangle, okay? And what I mean by that is, if it's right here, okay, and DJ's man was Ramsey right here to go, this right here, I kind of like this triangle. You go from the ball, you go to his man, you go to him, that's a flat triangle. If he does this right now, okay, that's a fat one. So now let's say for whatever reason, Blessing beat and Chase had to step. Here, throw it right there. Now we're here. He's got too long a closeout to get in there. It really shows itself when you get in the half court, but start, for us, we want to start working on that in the full court as well, from where it goes. Now teaching up right here, okay, with Jason's too deep, because right now, in terms of that triangle, get the ball right back to Blessing. If right now Dennis is going to stay there, can you get to that pass from where that triangle is go? Now keep going on it right now. Go down the floor like you would. Go down the floor like you would. Okay, triangle changes. D, come with me right now. Come with me right now. Come out back, Chase. Come here. Okay, so on it right now to go. Now, one of the things, and this is we work on it, is a challenge for our guys. Because when we jam it up and we're taking that away, that does not mean that we're giving something else, okay? So right now, he's jamming up on that sideline. He is pushing that guy in the middle. He's not giving the middle. So when we first started doing this, okay, from a day one, I'll take your spot for a second, Drew. Drew was here, and he dribbled, and he was waiting for Chase to get there. If Chase has to, he has to. But in the perfect world, he doesn't. So he's here right now to go, take that dribble, bam, now I'm turning him, and now we're going back, and now we're coming right to Max. If Max, again, has a bad triangle, there's a gap to go. So we'll play this 5-on-5 to go. So before we've even broken down and done any drill aspects, we've got them to go. All right? Go ahead and get 8-spot drill right now. Hustle up, let's go quickly. Good. Again, I told you, go ahead and get baseline. Let's go, hustle up. Baseline. Let's go. Baseline. 8-spot drill. Okay? Excited for practice number 1, because what am I seeing right now? Drill recognition, okay? Drill recognition. We've done 8-spot drill maybe 3 times in our kind of limited practice that we've had so far. We got to get better at it. Can you get your team to a point that what you're doing, where you say, hey, BC transition, because how much time is wasted that you go through BC transition? Okay, red, you go there, white, you go there. 8-spot drill, go, right? We've got numbers, go, get it to it quickly. So we have kind of a test in there. The other thing I'm looking for our guys to improve is, as they go from one thing to the other, they're going with a sense of urgency. Okay, now we go through it, and we've gone through a practice. And we can go back and we can watch film, but in the real time, that, in my opinion, has the most impact, right? We have 25 practices before our first game. Okay, we can't waste any of them, including today. So what we do in this 8-spot drill is we have 2 sides going at one time, okay? Ball's going to be thrown. This is kind of like a self-monitor deal. So Jason is going to throw it to Baril, okay? As this thing's go, what we tell them is that pass has to get there with you on time. So if he come back, go and come back here, Jay. If Jay has the ball right now and he goes, boom, there's no way he's going to get there in time. That's an open 3 in a game. So what he's got to do, he's got to be realistic. Now, not bad, not bad. Go ahead and bring it again right now. Go ahead and bring it again. Right now, I love Jason, man. You running the floor, that gets us kind of excited, right? Yeah, not just a little bit. Like I come home and I tell my kids about when he goes. The key is, can he do that all of the time? Okay? So we'll go break by break. As this thing goes, he is going to sprint and he is going to close out. I used to be, okay, no middle, no middle, no middle, no middle. Some teams will be no middle. Now I am no straight line. No straight line. Okay? So where that basketball is, teams are so good at, Coach talked about some of the automatics. I go baseline, boom. I got the guy filling behind. I got the 45. Okay, I got it here. What happens with a lot of our players when they say, Coach told me don't allow the ball to get to the middle? What does that translate for them? That's okay, right? Can't be okay. So one of the pieces is we have a coach out here. Again, I'm super fortunate to have a tremendous staff. You go in there in the gym and it's only you. Use players, right? Use your players. Doesn't have to be guys that are out hurt. Take 2 guys that are in that line that rotate, have them right here. A great opportunity for them to be leading and them to be communicating to one another. So what do they communicate? Well, it goes back to that non-negotiable aspect of it. What's the first thing that we should see? Chase and Jason, unbelievable with high hands. Okay? High hands, on time to go. Second one's not a non-negotiable necessarily, but it does have to do with airtime and it does have to do with what our angles is. Because when you see it right now, when this guy catches it, does he catch it like this? Not a good enough closeout, right? What do you have with some of the players? They close out and they make determinations on who and how they can guard that player before they've gotten to him. So we are not in the time of the year right now where our players get to determine if they think they can guard that guy off the dribble or not, right? We have a great strength conditioning program. It's awesome. But the best way to get your feet better, go guard people, okay? So here we go. You're going to come here, close out. We're going to go 2 sides at a time. So Andrew's going to go there. Play my whistle. Ready? Stop right now. So now, what do we talk about? We talk about building our shell. So we went live at the beginning. Does this look better than it did when we went live? You can admit, it's not going to insult me. Way better, right? Way better. So now, how can we get to a point when we go this? It's not perfect. We get this when we go live. We got to make sure we really drill into it. Because as a player, and this is what I think we've really found early, as a player, if you haven't gone in what they perceive as a competitive thing yet, this is just a drill. But now when you came off and coach said, hey, you got to get your hands up, or that guy went by you on a straight line drive, now it means something for where that goes. So now here we are, right? Again, we're up. We're active with our first hand. I want this thing right now up here. Then Max is going to be right here. This goes to our triangle. So we talked about earlier in the full court. We want a flat, not a fat triangle. So if he drops here, what do we know this creates? Drive and kick, long closeouts to go, okay? If I go here and I'm even deeper, it's not even a penetration. They're just going to throw it. So can you arrive on time? Go ahead and go here, okay? Now, the next thing you're going to see, we'll have them start from the beginning. When that pass goes to the wing, what is our air time and how does that look like? Throw the ball, bam, freeze. So right now, freeze. Right here with Jason's triangle, I don't love his triangle. Again, day one stuff, because for us, we want to be equidistant. When we talk about that triangle, we got to get him right here. The other thing is, we're going to take that inside foot, so the ball back here, okay? Here, it's kind of like when you get through a screen. If you get through a screen like this, that's a lot of surface area. You make yourself very, very easy to screen. In the same way, in terms of where your movement is, I want this foot closest. You're here right now to go. Be ready to move. Same thing with the ball. We're to go there. He's here. Bam. He's got this one right here. He's up. He's ready to rock with that spot. Again, you may say, we're going to take away middle. Fine. You might say, we're going to force baseline or vice versa to go. Right now, our biggest priority, don't allow the ball to go in a straight line. Okay? We have really good players that we go against, very, very good coaches. We might get a guy, and he'd say, hey, this guy, he is hard right. When he goes right, he's like LeBron. When he goes like left, he's not LeBron. Okay? So when that happens, where can you do it? So that idea of, for us, we have some terminology are we going to force it up or are we going to force it down in terms of where that closeout happens? Now this happened to go. What do we have to work on with this guy? Okay? We got to work on now what happens with a face cut. So this guy makes that face cut to go, freeze, stop right now. What's the first thing that you noticed at engagement? Our vision came here. We want to take our feet and fix them right now. Because he makes that cut, go ahead and make that cut. Initiate right now, inside. Bam, he comes down. We are fronting it to go right here. And then they will rotate to happen, okay? Here's the test in terms of how locked in your team is. And Burrell, looking forward to him having a fantastic year, okay? What type of cut does Burrell make when it goes to the wing? Does he go here, boom, 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 or does he make it as difficult as possible on Jason when coach tells him to go? And that, I think, is a key thing. Whether it's coach or whether it's a player, have them for this, have them give the go call. Because you'll get guys that maybe, I don't know, he beat him in 2K or something like that, so he'll try to make him look bad. He'll throw it and he'll just jump right away. We got to make sure the drill is good in terms of what. So here, waits for that go, but when he gets that go, it is a sprint. Here we go, both you guys up. Ready? Go! Rotate right now, rotate, hustle up, let's go, quickly. Here we go. Let's go, baseline. Go. Rotate right now, one more time, let's go, rotate. Here we go, let's go. Stop. Dennis, you're right here, right now. Matt, go there. Phenomenal, okay? We can't let him get the ball inside in this matchup. Can't happen. No negotiation. We don't, we'd say, Matt, hey, if it's 3 o'clock on Saturday, yes, Friday, 4 o'clock, no. Okay, no way. So when this happens right now, how does he make him better? He makes him better by going here and trying to threaten this thing and then taking that away. So that was good on you to go. Okay, now, we will transition, and we won't go through all of it because I want to jump to 5-on-5. But we'll go through it, and we'll go 4-on-4. Okay, we'll go 4-on-4 with ball screens. Okay, but before that, we talk about where our straight lines are. You guys are going to go here. Go ahead and rotate. I want to see it one more time with the next 4. Hustle up. Okay, now, do this one, obviously, one side at a time, so you're not running into each other. But now we're going to play 2-on-2, and we're going to play it live. Okay, no screens yet, all penetrations. Okay. Going here right now. Now you get to see where they are in terms of went live, kind of drilled up, and now we go. Here we go, ready? That's on me, that's on me. Teo, I love that. You being the first to go. Teo's side, you guys hold. Here we go, right now, let's go. Ready? Go! Freeze on it right now. Run it again, same group, same group. Good. Here we go.
Here we go, White.
Now,
Here we go, White.
it's a great one, okay? Great one. Because what happened a little bit, okay? And I love him. We're not going to be good unless he's good this year, okay? And Teo's going to have a phenomenal year. But a little bit, Teo came out there, and it was, I'm closing out like a drill. And what was Kirion thinking? Coach said live. I'm driving that thing. So how can you get your team to play live all the time in terms of mindset? You guys are up. Ready? Let's go. Right here. Let's go. Pretty good on it right now. Pretty good. Now, you guys are up. One of the things you notice too, and this is kind of how you guard it and kind of a gray area thing. I thought when blessing was this spot, go ahead and throw it right here. Okay? Go ahead and close. I'll take your spot. When it was here and this ball was driven, it was, hey, give him the benefit of the doubt. Said, hey, I'm guarding the corner guy, so I'm not going to help off of this thing. Not helping does not mean that you're not part of the solution. And part of that solution might mean that drive, bam, I'm jabbing, and then I get back, but I have to be involved in it, okay? Give me 5-on-5 right now, okay? Give me red outside. Give me a red and white offense, defense right there, okay? Now, it's a little thing. Again, everybody does their own deal. We'll get to a progression and kind of where we are is now they have to be together. So now we take those 5 defenders. Go ahead and elevate up here right now, okay? Take those 5 defenders, and they've got to be touching one another, okay? They literally have to be here, okay? Now, you can make that same progression and say, hey, we're going to go 4-on-4, and you're going to work on 2 sides ball screen. Maybe you switch it. Maybe you ice it. Maybe you fire it, whatever it might be. And this is one of the many, many things with it to go. If you shadow, right, meaning like for us, like if you shadow, if you don't let a guy, if you no catch him, you have to work on ball screens 4-on-4 because you're going to have those scenarios. You don't want to be in a situation in the game where you say, that guy cannot touch the basketball, but your guys have never worked on 4-on-4 ball screen rotations, okay? But early on, we're not to that point yet in terms of shadowing everybody. Now we're going to go 5-on-5 in terms of ball screens, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to double it right now to go. So pass is going to go, and again, random I think helps. Random helps with the progression. So it's going to go to one of these 2 guys right now to go, okay? You're going here, you're guarding that way. Ball's going to go to the wing. You can screen with anybody because obviously that gets them thinking, if he's setting a screen, what would we do? How would we cover it? How does that change it? Does it make it switchable? Okay? So now we're going to sprint to it right now. Whatever way it goes, David, you're going to ball screen, okay? And we are going to go here, and we're going to double it when he comes off of it. All right, here we go. Ready? Go! Stop. I love it. I love it. Get the ball right back there. Quickly, right now. Let's go. Hustle up. Here we go. Ball here. Ball here. Great example. You can't get this if you go 4-on-4. Everybody guards it differently, okay? Coach Nglima talked about it. I thought Ramsey did a really good job of getting out of the trap. But again, listen up. Part of where we go is everything builds on each other. He made this pass. Why was he able to make this pass? Because our hands were down. There wasn't an engagement right now that we were up here to go. If we're doubling, we got to go and we got to take that away. Now, he comes off of this. You come here. You guys are this way. What'd you do? He stayed on it right now. What pass really hurts us? That one. That pass here, because now we're in rotation. So how can you get your defense in a stand in where it goes? One of the things of watching Justin's teams, they do a phenomenal job, and you watch them play. Obviously, really good players, but I don't think he gets enough credit for what they do defensively and not being compromised in rotations. So some might say, well, you're creating a rotation by doubling this in this case. I would disagree. We're dictating the rotation. We are saying this is what we're going to be. In the same way, if you said, hey, we're going to switch it, we're dictating that. So wherever you are defensively, that would, I think, be the challenge from where it goes. So on that same coverage, go ahead and screen this. Okay, go ahead and go back to where you were, exactly where you were. Okay, now, little ball screen aspect of it. Okay, right now to go, my favorite Australian on the entire team. Okay, right now I would coach him up, and I'd be on him a little bit right now because he's not all the way over on the split line. Okay, I need him all the way over to go because where his triangle is, but part of that is this is where this guy has to understand that. In my opinion, part of the reason that Chase is over more than he should be is because that ball came out and he's got to be closer to that next one, okay? So again, when we go to it and we look at and we stat it out, not your 5 most talented players, the 5 best guys on the court that work together, okay? So on this right now, Chase has to have confidence that this pass is going to be taken away to go. We go through here, and again, not to get too detailed into it, but we have this one to go, and we're going to get here to double. We have to do a phenomenal job with this tag where it goes. What do teams do a really good job of? They vary up where that roll is going to go to, okay? So I think it can be hard for guys to understand that it's not math. 2 on 2 is not always 4. And here's an example of this. It can't be this guy thinking, hey, I've got, okay, this roll the entire time. I got this tag. Because what happens if he pops, okay? Go ahead here, let's say he pops. Well, that's bad spacing. We're going to like that. What happens if he short rolls? Well, freeze. If he short rolls, who should take that on it right now? Boom, you've got to be here. Goes back to your non-negotiables. If you don't talk, you're done from where that goes. So we go through it. Everything that we do ball screen, we try to start at 5 on 5, transition back in 4 on 4. So a rule like this of, hey, go ahead and set it again, Dave. Okay? If we're going here, I can't allow the forwarding pass. That pass cannot be made. And so this guy might go in here and say, okay, well, this guy cut, do your job, right? Do your job. So let's say on it right now, and he went here, he came off of it, go ahead and pop on it right now, okay? Freeze. Now your job changes. That's the beauty of it right now. Now that ball moves, you have somewhere else to go. What is it dialed back into? We have to speak the same language. In many ways, it does not matter what your term is. You call something ice, I might call it blue. You call something trap, I might call it orange. Doesn't matter. But what does matter, your players need to know that. So what's going to be the thing when we watch film of this play on Monday, when Max and I were going, you got to use airtime. Because now when that ball went back here, freeze. If he stays, just do the bad thing right now. Okay? If he stays right now what do we have? We have a gap. We can't have that gap. Goes back to it. What are we trying to fight to? We're trying to fight to our shell. So now we've got to get back. We've got to plug up, and we've got to be ready to go. All right? Questions on that? Questions on our progression in terms of what that looks like. Okay? Here's the last thing that we'll do with it right now. Give me those 3 teams on there, please. Okay? Get them organized right now. Give me red. You're going to be right here. Give me 4 golds right inside. Give me 4 whites outside. Ball forward, please. Thanks, Dave. Give me 4 guys ready to go. Bless you. You ready? You ready to go? Hey, you understand that? He's like one of my heroes. So right there, Coach.
Nice to meet you, Coach.
So if he sees it and you're not going hard, holy moly. You know what I mean? No Christmas card. All right, give me white out here right now. Give me gold inside. Give me 4 gold. Last thing that we'll go over, okay? We call it our 30-second drill, okay? 30-second drill, and this is the feedback from your players, super impactful, okay? So this, and it was before this, but how it became known to me, I'm a player, we're on a team retreat, okay? And Donovan Brewer, right, played at St. Joe's and played at Dominican, great dude. Don't be be a roommate with him on the road, because if you're not asleep before he is, you will not sleep because he snored the loudest I've ever had a roommate to go. But I love the guy. So we're in there. One of the questions was, what is the best drill that you've ever done? Okay? And we didn't like him for about 6 months after he introduced this idea. But it was a 30-second drill. Okay? I don't even remember. It might have been 35 at that time. I'm not sure. It was a long time ago. Okay? So here's where it goes. It's 4 on 4. You can, right now when we do it, we're just going to go penetration. All penetration. You can manipulate it any way you want. Let's say you said, all right, we're working on down screens. Okay? Worked on down screens earlier in practice or yesterday. Go live right away. Go live right away with this, but work on down screens. You have progression that goes. Here's a couple things with it. You can do it. You can look at it as positive reinforcement or negative reinforcement. Okay? So we'll go positive reinforcement to go. As long, right, as these guys get a stop, they get to stay on. They don't get a stop, new team's on, no negotiation, let's get it rocking and rolling. Positive, you do something good, you get it. Now we go negative. And I think we could probably use a better word for it, but they don't get a stop, they stay in there, right? And they go. So on your practice plan, have 2 or 3 things that you want to hit. In order for you to win, you got to cover down screens in 30-second drill. You got to cover wing ball screens. You got to guard single high, horns, whatever it might be to go. And then track it. Goes back to it. A couple of the wins that Teo has as part of his 80 are from the 30-second drill, okay? Here's another layer to where it goes. And these guys, just so they know that I'm not getting soft, right? We're going to be non-negotiable accountable. You can do all 4 of them, or you can pick 1, 2, or 3. So right now, our non-negotiable that we're going to have that keeps you in is you got to have high hands. One guy has high hands out, boom, whistle's going to blow, boom, you move, right? Offense, where do you want to get to? You don't get a win by scoring. You get a win by scoring and getting on defense and then getting a stop. All right, here we go. Right now, let's go. Ready, go. Stop. Gold off. Dennis Burrill, hands down. Rotate right now, let's go. Here we go. Stop. Ball goes there right now. Quickly, quickly. Get the ball right there. Go opposite to go right now. Okay? What do we notice on it right now? And here, I would argue, is the secret stuff. The secret stuff. These guys got two guys on here. They are wearing different color jerseys. Peyton White got a chance to have a phenomenal 30-year for us. Banged up a lip. It's not going to practice today. But what's his engagement to go? David is right here. When that ball got moved, he didn't move. He stood right here to go. So our airtime got messed up. So don't become a prisoner of just because you're focusing on one thing, the other ones go out the door. So this is going to be like Burger King. You get it your way. You get another shot. All right, here we go. Right now. Ready? Go. Stop! Vision on it. When that ball is driven, you got to see it. Rotate right now. Rotate. Hustle up. Let's go. Quickly. Here we go. Let's go. Freeze on it right now to go. Right? We got Vito here. We got Joe here. We got two great managers. Okay? But don't be afraid to have high standards and hold them accountable. Right now, we've got no 30-second that's up there right now. So I don't know. Coach is keeping track of it, but Vito's got to go. So you will have somebody in your program, okay, on your campus, wherever you're coaching, right, middle school, high school, college, that want to be involved, right? Hold them accountable to that. I love Vito. Great spirit, like the whole deal. But we got something messed up with our 30-second drill. Can you figure out how to get that to 13? Not a bet. All right, here we go. Right now, let's go. Ready? Go! Rotate right now. Rotate quickly. Let's go. Hustle up. Here we go. Let's go. Here we go. Baseline, get there right now. Baseline. Here we go. Guess what we got, Coach? A lot to work on. All right? A lot to work on. So here on it right now to go. Can you put it together from where that happens? So we got back cut there. I don't think because it was purposeful, right, in terms of we wanted to get back cut, but we didn't have the purpose of what we were trying to do. And what did we lose? So this will be kind of like one final thing that I'll give you is when you are in a gap, we talked about those triangles to go. One of the hard and fast rule is I'm always, it's going to seem basic, but I'm always going to know where my guy is with one exception, when I'm forced to help. Okay? So on this situation right now, we weren't forced to help. We weren't beat. Okay? But we stepped up here and we got ourselves in no man's land. Okay? Final thing, just out of that drill, kind of from a teaching point. Ip, go ahead and go on that wing right now. Matt, go ahead and guard him. Okay? Go ahead and go in the corner right now, Dennis. About 2 possessions ago, okay, this ball got driven and it came over the top on there right now and it went here. What beat us? The straight line drive, right? It wasn't the fact that he could dribble to his right hand, in my opinion. You might differently, and that's okay, okay? But we got beat in a straight line because here's part of it to go right now. Right now, I would say, if I'm teaching Matt up right here, his closeout is such that he's allowing Ip to dictate where the ball is going to go. But if he's here right now, and he's that way, now he can adjust to it. You might say, well, I got some guys that are not great on the ball. Challenge them in the first couple weeks to make their closeout and go get that guy. See what happens. Because then you can adjust. He can go out there and jam that thing up. Let's say he rips through. Boom, then he comes back. Now, but where's that ball going to go? If that ball goes in a straight line, I don't care where you're forcing it, you're going to get beat. But if that ball never never goes in a straight line, you're pretty good. So let's go and use this same example we have. He goes middle on it right now. You're a better player than I am, so he gets here. If he goes this way right now, and we come here, and he levels me off, I like that way better than if it's here. Get on the high side on it right now. That if he goes here, yes, he forced him this way, but now it's a straight line drive. Now I've forced that rotation to go. Because what are teams expecting when they dribble over the top? They're expecting to get an advantage. So my thing that I would give you from on the ball, challenge your on-ball defenders to think in the same way that shooters should. A shooter, when he shoots it right now, he should be the only one that's expecting that shot to go in. Okay? I challenge the same way of how you look at it from a defensive perspective. Those other 4 guys, they're ready to rotate if needed. Right? I can't be locked in only on the ball. I've got to see both of them. I'm ready to rotate if needed. And that guy on the ball, he cannot have a mindset that help is there, that rotation is there. Because immediately when he does that, then he's the same guy, he or she's the same guy that says, well, coach, I took the middle away. Okay? Well, you just gave up a straight line drive. We're playing 5-on-4, 4-on-3, no dice to it. We don't like it. Okay? Knew that was a lot at you. We went pretty fast, but just kind of give you an idea of our progression, some of the things that we try to work on. We have a long way to go, but the beauty of it is, and I'll go back to the first thing that I'll give you, is we have a long way to go, but I'm so excited to work with these guys, right? Because they're going to keep working. We're going to get better. At 3:15, when we start practice, I think we're going to have a really good practice. It's going to be perfect? No, it's not going to be perfect. But it's going to be a group that's going to be very purposeful and intentful. Because I think the best thing, and one of the last things I'll leave you with, I think one of the best things that we can do as coaches is to have as high expectations as we possibly can for our players and everybody we work for. From somebody doing the shot clock, to somebody to make sure we get the water, to somebody that's way smarter than we are that just happens to be on our staff. All right? My final thing, not basketball related to you. On that sheet that I gave you, okay, there are no state secrets on that, okay, on it, but there is at the bottom of it, there is my contact information, okay? So you have my email, that's my cell phone. You want to come by practice, you want to come to a game, you want to talk shop, you want me to steal an idea from you, because that would guarantee to happen in a conversation that we have, just go ahead and hit me up. I'd love to connect with you. So any questions I got before we head out? Yes?
When you talk about closeouts and getting these close,
Yep.
not doing a straight line drive, what's the first step that you teach your defender? Do you teach them to take a step back? Do you have a certain step you have them take, or is it just kind of...
So I asked the question is what's the teaching point of their feet? I would challenge for where their feet are their feet synced up with their hands, right? So the vision of the ball, like where's the ball going to go? Because we'll see a lot, especially early, if we're here, and let's say we are taking the middle away in terms of our angle, because I will tell you, I think that we want to avoid an angle, like a straight line drive, but I can't be just completely squared, right? So if I'm here to go, where's that ball going? Because a lot of times, right, we see our players, we'll be up here, and now that guy will pivot, and our guy will stay where he was, okay? So in answer to your question, we are going to dictate the ball and then give space. Because I don't want to, let's say, go ahead and come out here real quick, Bless, real quick. Hustle, good in the ball, please. Okay, good in the ball. So if I'm here right now, and I'm going here, and I'm taking this away, okay, and he pivots, and he goes that way, so freeze. Now the ball is there, but I jump back, it's not enough, right? I've got to jump back, and I've got to jump over to take that thing away, okay? And then, as we said at the beginning, or as I was trying to say at the beginning, my hands in terms of where it goes, because we play against too good of players that if you allow them on their catch to be down here and to be shot ready, your angle in many ways doesn't matter. All right. Other questions? Awesome. Thanks so much for being here. Appreciate your time.